Diogo Jota's story began quietly in Gondomar, a modest suburb east of Porto, Portugal. Born on December 4, 1996, to a crane operator father and a factory worker mother, Jota was raised on values of hard work, humility, and self-discipline. From an early age, football was his calling, not because someone told him it would be, but because he made it so. On neighborhood pitches and youth league fields, he played with a mixture of flair and ferocity that set him apart, not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty of someone who knew where he was going even before others noticed. By 2014, at just 18 years old, he had earned his debut with Paços de Ferreira's senior team. He scored his first professional goal in that same season and quickly made himself indispensable. Scouts across Europe began to take notice. In 2016, Atletico Madrid secured his signature, betting on a young forward who was still a raw diamond. Though he never appeared in an official match for Atletico's senior side, that move unlocked the next vital stages of his development. A loan to Porto, his hometown's biggest club, helped him settle. Then came a career-defining loan to Wolverhampton Wanderers in England's Championship. Under the stewardship of Nuno Espirito Santo, Jota flourished at Wolves. He scored 17 goals in the 2017-18 campaign, leading the club to Premier League promotion. In the top flight, he proved that his game translated at every level. Aggressive pressing, fearless dribbling, and sharp finishing. He wasn't loud or flashy, but he was decisive. He had a knack for finding the right place at the right time, and he always played like someone who believed in the power of hard work over hype. For fans at Molineux, he was a revelation. For football's top clubs, he had become a serious target. Liverpool made their move in September 2020. Jurgen Klopp, known for trusting high-character, high-effort players, saw in Jota the perfect addition to his high-octane system. The club paid £41 million for him, and it didn't take long for the Portuguese forward to silence any doubters. He scored on his Premier League debut against Arsenal and made history by netting Liverpool's 10,000th goal in all competitions. His intelligence on the pitch, his ability to read space, press at the right moment, and finish under pressure, quickly earned him a place among the elite front line that included Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Roberto Firmino. Jota became a game-changer for Liverpool. Whether starting or coming off the bench, he delivered. In less than 5 seasons, he scored over 65 goals in 182 appearances for the club. He became known for his ability to deliver in big moments, a late winner against Tottenham, a stunning brace against Arsenal, and countless goals where his calmness under pressure proved decisive. He wasn't just a finisher. He was a complete forward, equally capable of dropping deep, linking play, or sprinting into the box to meet a cross. And Klopp adored him, not just for his quality, but for his attitude, his professionalism, and the quiet leadership he brought to the dressing room. Internationally, Jota wore Portugal's colors with pride. He earned 49 caps for the national team, scoring 14 goals. He played key roles in UEFA Nations League campaigns, including the 2019 and 2025 victories. His performances were consistent and tireless, and his presence alongside legends like Cristiano Ronaldo never looked out of place. In fact, Ronaldo once said that Jota reminded him of the best strikers he'd ever played with, not because he tried to imitate them, but because he brought his own unique style to the game. In June 2025, just a few weeks before tragedy struck, Jota lifted his second Nations League title with Portugal. He was still only 28. Then came the devastating news. On July 3, 2025, Diogo Jota and his younger brother, André Silva, also a footballer, playing for Penafiel, were killed in a horrific car accident in Spain. The brothers had been traveling to Santander to catch a ferry to the UK. Jota, who had recently undergone minor lung surgery, had reportedly been advised not to fly. According to Spanish authorities, a tire on their Lamborghini Huracan failed during an overtaking maneuver on the A52 motorway near Zamora. The car lost control, veered off the road, hit the embankment, and exploded into flames. Both brothers died instantly. Investigators later confirmed that speeding was likely a factor and that Jota had been driving. The football world was shattered. Cristiano Ronaldo, who had just lifted the Nations League with Jota, spoke in disbelief, saying, "It doesn't make sense." Jurgen Klopp, visibly emotional, struggled for words. "There must be a bigger purpose," he said, "but I can't see it." Teammates at Liverpool and Portugal flooded social media with tributes. Andy Robertson, who affectionately nicknamed him Mac Jota, wrote, "He was the most British Portuguese player I've ever met, and one of the kindest, funniest teammates I've had the pleasure of sharing a pitch with." Clubs across Europe held moments of silence. Anfield became a sea of flowers, scarves, and tears. Only 11 days before the accident, Jota had married his longtime partner, Ruth Cardoso. The two had been together since their teenage years and were raising 3 children. The news of his death, so soon after what should have been the happiest day of his life, made the loss even more painful for those who knew him. The funeral, held in his hometown of Gondomar, was attended by thousands. Portugal's president and prime minister were there. So were teammates past and present, local youth players from the Diogo Jota Academy, and ordinary fans who had simply loved the way he played and carried himself. But Jota was more than a footballer. Off the pitch, he was an advocate for women's sports and equality in football. He worked with Her Sport, an Irish non-profit, and frequently used his platform to highlight female athletes and issues often overlooked by male stars. He never did it for attention. He did it because he believed it mattered. He once said in an interview that his daughters should grow up in a world where no dream was off limits. That's the kind of man he was. Thoughtful, principled, and grounded. At the time of his death, Diogo Jota's estimated net worth was approximately $25 million. That wealth was hard-earned, through high-value transfers, endorsement deals, and steady commercial ventures. But money never seemed to define him. He remained close to his roots, regularly returning to Gondomar, where he was building a football complex for youth development. He was involved in charitable work, including funding scholarships for underprivileged kids in Portugal. In interviews, he often said he was just a boy from Gondomar who never forgot who he was. André Silva, his brother, was also a man of purpose. Though he never reached the heights Diogo did, he had quietly carved a future for himself in business and sport. He held a degree in management and co-founded a startup with Diogo that aimed to help young athletes navigate the financial pitfalls of professional life. They were not just brothers, they were partners, best friends, and each other's greatest champions. In Liverpool, Jota's legacy is now enshrined in memory. His name is sung at Anfield. His number 20 shirt has become iconic, not just for the goals he scored, but for what he represented. He was proof that you didn't have to shout to be heard. That kindness, humility, and consistency could carry you just as far as charisma and flash. Klopp said it best, "Diogo made everything better, the attack, the energy, the culture. He just made things better." This is more than a eulogy. It's a reminder of what sport can give, and what it can take. Jota's life was a story of triumph. His death was a tragedy. But even in loss, he has left us something lasting. He showed young players what it meant to work, to listen, to lead, to never stop evolving. He didn't just score goals, he gave others permission to believe they could too. Thank you for taking this journey with us through the life of Diogo Jota, a gifted footballer, a devoted husband, a brother, a friend, and an advocate. He came from the neighborhoods of Portugal, climbed to football's grandest stages, and never lost his footing. He finished his journey far too soon, but in doing so, he left behind a legacy more powerful than statistics or trophies. He left behind the kind of memory that lives on in stories, in silence, and in the hearts of those who saw him glide across the pitch one last time. If you believe in honoring athletes for who they were beyond the game, if you've ever admired someone who made greatness look human, if you felt the weight of a story that ends too soon but lingers long, then don't let this tribute end here. Like this video to honor his legacy. Share it with someone who understands that true greatness often speaks softly. And subscribe to About Celebrities to remember the lives behind the legends. Until next time, hold your people close, play with passion, and remember, some players chase glory. Diogo Jota chased purpose, and in doing so, became unforgettable.